Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Forrest with some more Destiny gameplay and discussion. Today's video is primarily going to be talking about the game. What I want to talk with you about is sort of where we are right now, a week into the game's launch. And in the background, you're checking out some gameplay footage from the weekly Nightfall. It's an incredibly difficult version of the strike on Old Russia. So it's basically a harder version of the Devil's Lair strike with insane damage modifiers. The enemies are more aggressive, they're a higher level, all sorts of stuff. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the discussion though. So we're a week in, and I want to preface this by saying everything I'm going to talk about is coming from the perspective of someone who has sunk a lot of time into the game. Since the launch, I believe I'm sitting at right now somewhere around 42 hours. So do realize, yes, when I talk about the things that I'm doing and the content that there is or isn't, that is coming from sort of a more hardcore perspective in terms of the time investment within that first week. Most people haven't played 20 hours, let alone 40, even though I do know some people who have sunk in close to 80 hours. I mean, I don't even know how I put in the time I did, let alone that much. But so where are we right now? Well, I hit the max base level, which is 20, and then at that point you start trying to level up further through gear. The highest level gear you will ever see, though, as of now, is level 20. And then that gear has the plus light stat, which will further increase your level beyond 20. Now, the highest level I've seen at the moment in the game is 26. I'm currently 25. The two other teammates that we have in this run here, they are both 26. So that's the highest level I've seen right now through the gear that's currently available. As time goes on and people get more legendaries and exotics, the light level will climb, and we'll see people getting closer to around level 30. So what are we doing right now? Well, once I hit level 20, which happened last week towards the later half of the week, I want to say like Thursday or so, that's when I began the gear grind. And a lot of that at first consisted of me running strikes over and over again. I thought, well, I need to do strikes because I want the Vanguard reputation and I want those Vanguard marks so that I can buy that exotic gear. Well, I did that, and I got up to my 100 cap, and then after that, I sort of realized I wasn't getting that great of gear from the strikes itself. It just not a lot of stuff was dropping. So I started looking up different farming routines, and I found a variety of them. I've tried some chest runs in Old Russia. I tried doing the NPC farming on Venus, which is actually something that I made a video about as well in terms of that farming route, which it was good. I mean, you know, I got a fair amount of blues, some purples every now and then, and a ton of greens, which you just break down to get glimmer, weapon parts, armor pieces, things like that. So I did a bunch of that. I also tried, just this afternoon, I tried some farming runs on the moon, in that first moon mission where we've got a whole bunch of hive streaming out. And that stuff is really, really good for a few reasons. Number one, the farming runs give you, at the very least, you're going to pick up a ton of blues, more than you're going to get in strike runs in an equivalent amount of time. I mean, a half an hour of farming, I would say on average, depending on the run that you're doing, can probably net you somewhere between like 5 and 7, maybe if you're lucky 10 blue or purple engrams. And breaking those things down, leveling up your Cryptarch, which is the NPC you go to sort of identify those items, get you more pieces of legendary gear from your postmaster. Basically, every time you level him up by identifying things, every time you level him up, you're going to get something, an item in your postmaster that at this point, I think I'm at level 7 or 8 for him. At this point, it's been giving me 2 legendary items to identify every single time. And so I've been picking up some legendary gear just from that. So I guess the point is, it seems like at the moment, the really best way to get gear is from doing farming, whether you're farming chest or you're farming low-level NPCs to get those blue and purple engrams. It has seemed like it's been the best way to get gear. I also, of course, got a piece of exotic gear from the special weekend NPC vendor. And just this afternoon, I got a piece of exotic gear from this run that you're seeing here. I got an exotic helm, which I'm really excited about. The problem, though, is you can actually only have one exotic piece per gear and weapon. So you can have an exotic weapon and an exotic piece of gear, whether it's your helm, your chest, your arms, or your legs. but you can only have 2 exotics equipped at any given time. So I've got 2 exotic pieces of gear, a helm and an arm, and I'm gonna have to be swapping those out depending on the spec that I'm using, because each of those gear pieces are sort of tailored to one of your specific class specs. So at this point, it's sort of interesting because I've got, let me see, I've got a legendary, legendary's purple in this game. I've got a legendary primary, secondary, and heavy weapon. I've got 2 exotic pieces of gear, and I can only equip 1 at a time. Remember, for a gear piece, 1 at a time, plus one weapon. So I already have 2 exotic pieces of gear, 3 legendary weapons. So all I need right now is 1 exotic weapon, which I'm going to be getting that next week. I already have 12 strange coins. All I need to do is, I think, save up, it's 23 or 25 strange coins to get the exotic weapon from the weekend vendor. So next Friday afternoon, when the weekend vendor comes back, I will no doubt have enough strange coins to have my other exotic piece. So I'll have my exotic weapon. I've got 2 different options for my exotic gear piece. And then all I'm going to need to do is get 3 more legendary pieces of the main slot gear, and I'm basically geared to the max at the moment. Now, that is going to change because we've got the raids coming. In fact, I think the raids are coming next week, and I anticipate that that gear is going to be better than the vendor gear that we have. But it's so weird because I'm in this position where everything I can see in the game right now, I'm like just about to hit max level, finish being geared out. I mean, yes and no, obviously, because again, we're getting the raid stuff. There's going to be a lot more. But the fact that I already have 2 exotic pieces to me is kind of crazy. And the fact that I've got a full set of legendary weapons to me is kind of crazy. I mean, we're only week in. But once again, as I said earlier in the video, this is also from the perspective of someone who did sink 40 hours in. So if you're a normal person who isn't insane, or if you're someone who just doesn't do games as a career, which it's a small group of us that actually does that, if you're not someone who does games as a career or who isn't insane or just jobless at the moment, there's no way you put in 40 hours. So you might be closer to 10 or 15, and then the position I'm in right now, you might not be here until 3-4 weeks out, and by then, with the raids in full swing and everything, the first raid in full swing, you'll have all these other options to go up to. But I definitely did get to the point, especially this weekend, where I was just like, oh man, there's not much of a motivation. Like, there's only 5 strikes, 6 if you're playing on PlayStation consoles, but 5 on Xbox consoles. I got, unfortunately, it was decided for me because my friends only have Xbox Ones, so that's the platform I had to play on. But, you know, the strikes you get used to, we're kind of nailing them down. Playing on the highest strike level, so they're the strike playlist, and the highest strike playlist level is 24. And even playing on the level 24 strike playlist, with the groups that I've been in, we've just been tearing through it. I mean, it hasn't been very challenging. The good thing, though, is those raids are coming. And it was also announced that they're going to be increasing the level of public events that are happening. I don't know how much effort I'm going to put into that unless it's actually deemed as worthwhile. I do believe you can get strange coins from getting gold in public events, but I'm not sure. It depends on how frequent they are. It would be really good if some of the farming spots where I'm trying to farm for strange coins, farm for those engrams, also have public events nearby. Then whenever they pop up, we can hop in those, try to get the strange coins. But I'm almost in the position now where I'm going to be close to not needing strange coins. I mean, I feel like, let's get some thoughts after 1 week. I do realize that I've played it a ton. But I definitely was starting to burn out this weekend. That could just solely be because I put in way more time than is normal. But I definitely was feeling a little bit like, okay, I need a little bit of a break. So I took a break this weekend, hopped back in today, and was playing it. I did this, and it's just so, the game is just so fun to play. And I really am hoping that a week from now, we've got those raids in, and it's going to be something that's going to keep me around for a while. I mean, next week, it seems like all I'm really going to be doing is saving up my Vanguard marks. I'm going to buy my piece of purple gear. I'm going to cap Vanguard marks to afford another piece of purple gear next week. Actually, I'll be able to get 2 pieces this week if I get the 65 mark pieces or whatever. And yeah, I mean, we'll just take it from there. I mean, at this point, you know, when you hit max level and you start the gear grind, it's a gear grind. Like any game that you could, you know, Diablo 3 is a game that I consistently hear come up when talking about this game, because a lot of ways it sort of works like that. You play through once, but that's not it. Then you go on that treadmill of getting gear, and I'll keep you guys updated as time goes on, sort of how that is progressing. I'll talk with you and show you the raids and all of that stuff. I'll show you the more challenging. I might make a video for this Nightfall run. This was just crazy. I'm probably not going to show the full hour and a half, but I might make a video just sort of editing things together and just seeing how it goes, just to show that to you for those of you who may be interested in seeing it. But that's going to do it, guys, for today's video. Again, I just wanted to talk with you sort of a little bit about how this past week has been, where I'm currently at, what I'm currently doing, and what's coming up in the immediate future. I'll see you for some more Destiny coming up. I'll see you for some other great stuff, so hang around. Hope you have a fantastic evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Keep watching and keep owning.
Guardian down. Well done.